Welcome to the podcast. Good guys, good gals. We have famous comedian here, documentary filmmaker.
I mean, we'll see. Try
Adam Ray, in like the ill fandom Seattle Kraken jacket that he got because Bert Kreischer basically steals from every venue
Bert
he
Kreischer
works
steals. He's a known, I was about to say another word, but klepto. Sometimes I get klepto and pedo like mixed up. Do you know what I'm saying?
that's a
and
bad
I was about to say
mix-up.
it's a bad mix-up. It's not like there or there, like the misspelling. It's like those are two different lifestyles, I think.
Klepto is, cousin Rick's got a problem.
Yeah.
Pedo is we don't talk to cousin Rick anymore.
Everyone's got a fucking weird cut. Can you curse on this?
Please.
Of course. Everyone's got a mother. No, I don't want to be like my nephew. My nephew is 9. He's cursing for just the sake of cursing. And I remember being that age. And sorry to go on a quick tangent right out of the gate, but he is just like last time I went home, he goes, shit motherfucker tits. And I go, never change, have a bomb ass summer is what I would write in your yearbook if you said that to me on the last day of school. I mean, and it's funny. And he says it with a smile. He doesn't say it to be cool. So he's like, oh, look at this new thing I found out I can do.
Yeah.
Josh, has Max ever cursed?
He'll say like, oh, heck, man. And I'll be like, that's awesome. I feel like we're at Christian camp.
Yeah. It's all in the delivery though. But I think kids, when they don't know what to use, I think most kids don't know what context to use, fuck you, like they just say it to say it, right?
Yeah, at home it's really funny. In school, it's a little less funny.
Yeah,
so I have nieces and nephews, and like my brother-in-law and sister-in-law just curse like sailors, and the girl is 2, and I'm just positive. I'm like, oh man, it is coming, and it's coming hot, and it's going to be hilarious until she says it to her teacher, and then it's not going to be funny anymore.
I know. I got kicked out of kindergarten for saying diarrhea. A kid tattled on me. Remember tattletales?
Is that that's considered a curse? Diarrhea.
It was at Brookside Elementary.
Diarrhea is a medical term.
And I wasn't just saying it like diarrhea, diarrhea. I was singing the famous song, When You're Sliding Into First and You Feel Something Burst. Diarrhea. Have you not heard this?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
I had a childhood, kind of, until Nickelodeon robbed it from me.
I'm just thinking that maybe we have like some kind of class action suit though against this school because diarrhea is a totally fine term.
I know.
We should go after them.
Speaking of weird nursery rhymes, I was thinking of this one the other day because I heard it in one of my son's, YouTube videos. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. If you see a crocodile, don't forget to scream.
What?
Oh, I won't forget.
They changed it? They changed They changed
that feels like an adaptation.
They did.
There's more to the song that none of us know. And one of the verses is on the deep track, don't forget to scream if you see a crocodile. First of all, crocodiles are one of the scariest animals on earth, and they will kill you. Don't get it confused with a gator. They want you dead.
I think that's all they want.
Yeah.
They want food, but they want people first. And if you happen to be tasty, that's a double bonus.
That said, we're here drinking or eating creatine and doing all these shots and pumping ourselves up and trying to give ourselves longevity. The crocodiles, these guys live forever. The alligators, they live forever.
Well, they have, I don't know, improv stuff. Thanks for having me, guys. I was about to insert a fun fact about alligators or crocodiles. What's the difference?
Such a great question. I have no fucking clue.
No
we'll be
idea.
Right back.
Marshall, what's the difference? Do you know?
I'm asking ChatGPT.
Wow, we have an active producer here looking things up. We have made it, y'all.
Now, let me ask you this. Marsh just said, I'm going to ask ChatGPT.
Julia knows. What is it? One is freshwater, one is saltwater. Boom.
How about that?
So really, they're exactly the same.
And you said you wouldn't learn any crocodile alligator facts today, Marsh. He said that as soon as I walked in. He goes, you ain't learning shit about these creatures.
The main categories of differences are snout shape, habitat, which includes the freshwater.
That sounds anti-Semitic. Snout shape.
Snout shape, yeah. Come on, dude. It's 2024.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
Can't just walk around talking like that.
One's better at accounting.
One has a circumcised tail.
Well, on the podcast, we do like pop culture news articles. We do speak pipes, which are sort of questions that are sent in to us from our wonderful fandom, aka the Morons. Yeah. That's their name.
Oh, really? How'd they get that name?
They're morons.
Ben?
Most people are.
I'm
talking about this.
We call it like we see it. That's it. Morons be morons. We're morons too.
Bro, we all are. I'm starting to really push the sentiment in my new hour. People be peopling. And just that, basically what that means is it's tough to be a fucking person. The amount of people, because there's a lot of stuff I'm talking about where people are putting their feet in their mouth, whether it's baseball broadcasters, saying, this joke about Shohei Ohtani dealing with an injury, and the sidekick was like, oh, they're going to have to be very careful. And, shit like that, and then, the rest of it, crazy. He got suspended, clearly. But just, that it's tough to go outside and not, say we're all just trying to like do our best, but also like from here to here is like easier said than done.
I was just in Utah, home of the Mormon. Crazy place.
Did you run into
What an
any?
interesting place.
Did I run into any of them? No, it's so
You
funny.
did. You just don't know it.
That's true. They could have been undercover Mormons. They could have been undercover. But,
I would watch 6 seasons of that.
Undercover Mormon
Undercover
sounds
Mormon.
incredible.
but no, like
Now
you're
on Peacock.
You're driving, you're looking to the right, you see beautiful ranches and horses, and then all of a sudden you see a really scary church, and you're like, oh, they're definitely around here somewhere. But no, you don't see them. You don't see them, especially in Park City.
For the most part, Mormons are kind of just nice.
They're good. No,
and
they're
lovely.
good. They're good people. They're good people
good
for sure.
people, right?
Oh yeah, BYU, good athletes too.
They
Except
definitely though, but there's some of their rules, or at least like, guidelines to life where they're like, I won't drink, but I'll like pull the plug on my grandma like real quick. Like, I don't know, like that.
They believe in euthanasia. You heard
don't
it
quote
here
me on this.
first.
Anyway,
You're gonna spread that.
I think like, I think they don't believe in sex before marriage, right? But I think they'd like push a bucket of puppies off a hill before they would have premarital sex.
But we've had the wonderful Sophia Franklin on the podcast,
Yes.
and
She's Mormon.
Well, she grew up in Utah. She's actually half Argentinian Jew. Who would have thought?
Wow, they have those.
Yeah.
There's so many different like flavors of what we got going.
yeah, I mean, right,
pretty great.
after World War II, we fled. We're everywhere. You'll find
We're everywhere, dude.
We're everywhere. We're in your banks.
We're like the Epstein list. We're everywhere.
We're
man.
everywhere.
Okay, so this first article that I read, well, I think it's worth talking about, and this is now going to be probably a week later. But this whole Jimmy Kimmel, Aaron Rodgers feud is fascinating.
Yeah.
No? Is it worth talking about?
I think so. I think Aaron Rodgers is fascinating in an awful way. I think he's like boring dud of a human, but that's just my own personal opinion. I'm sure I don't know. And not that you need to be an exciting, personable, whatever athlete. It definitely, I don't think he cares about, I don't know. He was doing this stuff when he got in commercials, so you got to have a decent amount of pizzazz, but it's always interesting to me, and maybe I'm coming from the comic standpoint of someone that thinks they're hilarious and they don't do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he has this weird like confidence to him where he's like, I'm fucking Aaron Rodgers, dude. You know what I'm saying? I've always felt that from him.
What do you think, Ben? What's your feelings on the whole Jimmy Kimmel feud?
Well, one, Jimmy Kimmel is a close personal friend of yours, Josh, and
But not technically.
no, he's you're a man. Went to his house. You guys shared a nice dinner. I don't know what I can say
That's
about Jimmy
awesome.
Kimmel. I was going to talk about Aaron Rodgers, but now you're dear friends with Travis Kelce. So all of a sudden, I feel like I can't say anything about anybody. That said, what I was going to say is that Aaron
Please
Rodgers.
say it all.
You brought it up earlier. People be peoplin'. I think that we forget that people be peoplin'. Like celebrities and athletes are still people. They still say things. Like they have a right to talk the way that we talk. They just
1,000.
they just have a little bit more of a microphone for everything that they say. And I absolutely love somebody that's opinionated and isn't afraid to share their views, regardless of I think they're true or not. I think there's just far too much censorship in general, which is what I think you meant by people be peoplin'. So when Aaron Rodgers says things that poke people, I typically enjoy it. I do think that Jimmy Kimmel, having spent his entire career poking everyone all the time professionally, I think he should have slightly tougher skin.
Look, I think it's fascinating because like Aaron Rodgers is like a really fun liability because he'll say some wild things. And I think we're so used to, because he is an incredible talent, we're so used to the Tom Brady's who were like infallible. Like they took that role so seriously as being like one of the greats that everything was measured. And so when you see someone in that similar position kind of shooting from the hip, at times it's a little bit more surprising. But I think Lauren Michaels has it right, which if you notice, if you're on SNL, you really are technically not allowed to have a Twitter. Like, or an X. Like basically when you are under that umbrella, he's like, why don't you chill out with these opinions of yours
Right.
and just be a good worker?
Yeah.
And in a couple of years, hopefully you're super famous. You don't need the show anymore. And you can go say whatever the heck you want.
Yeah.
I think if I owned an NFL team, I'd be like, no social media.
I get why he's fired up because he's a family dude and he's just like, it is a crazy accusation to even be saying, but it's also like, I don't know, it's clearly probably, I mean, you know, who knows? I saw some slide of they were, you know, throwing, who else did I just see that they were saying was on the list? Jim Carrey.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking. Well, he for sure was there, for sure. I mean, let's not even beat around the bush on that. Are you kidding me? They had Wi-Fi there. He could hook up to his Bluetooth.
He flew the plane. But
all you just hear him go is, "This is late."
Are you sure they're old enough? Yeah, he just was.
I watch Jimmy Kimmel, and more often than not, I think that he throws jabs, and I just don't think they're that funny. And I think that
Right.
Aaron Rodgers probably got jabbed, no pun intended,
Yeah.
by
No, pun intended, baby.
by Jimmy Kimmel, and he took offense and he threw a jab back that he thought was equally not funny. So I think
Right.
there's probably an even score in his mind. I agree with you. He's not a professional comedian. I don't think that you have to be a professional comedian to try to tell a joke. But I definitely am a little bit biased because I just don't ever find Kimmel.
Can we agree on this,
Yes.
Ben? Can we agree? If you dish it out, you should be able to take it.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
I think we can also agree with like,
do you think that
don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah,
you know?
and I feel like, do you think that Rodgers? I feel like Rodgers takes it. Like you talk about people writing online. Would you agree or no?
I mean, I think he's I truly feel like he's the type of guy that is pretty self-absorbed. So I think he doesn't even feel what's coming at him. I think there's like maybe not a wall up, but I think it's like, it's bouncing off because he's created this, and who knows if it's come out of his ayahuasca trips, but I think he's got some sort of a shield and he's just fucking throwing fastballs and not really receiving. And I also know some comics that kind of knew him for a bit and have told me some stories that are not favorable about his just overall personality that feels this a little bit.
Yeah.
But also I try to assess everything on its own.
Case by case.
Yeah, case by case.
So Josh is the singular neutral party. I hate Kimmel. You hate Rodgers. We're debating. Josh is sitting in the middle.
Oh man, this is how rumors. I don't even hate Rodgers though.
I hate football and I hate late night. Let's not bury the lead. You're friends with Travis Kelce.
I was just about to say that.
Okay, in 2024, you got to stop wasting time. Babe, you're never going to get time wasted back. And the best way to do that, the way I'm doing it, is with Thrive Market. Thrive Market allows me to find healthy essentials that I'm going to eat for me and my family, like Primal Kitchen that uses great avocado oils instead of like crappy seed oils in their products, or Bob's Red Mill because I love their oatmeal and stuff like that. And my family's very regular. I don't mean to brag, but just get your fiber game up. Look, whatever you need for your healthy lifestyle, be it gluten-free options, low sugar options, organic kid snacks, you're going to find on Thrive Market. It's going to come to your house, your grocery and household essentials, so you don't have to waste time at the store. It's convenient. And it's easy. But the best part is you're going to save money. On average, a Thrive Market member will save 30% each time, right? The last time I saved over $25 on like almost $100 in groceries. Does it get better than that? I'll answer that. No. Thrive Market. You need it. So join in on the savings with Thrive Market today and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. Go to thrivemarket.com/goodguys for 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. Who doesn't love a gift? That's THRIVE market.com/goodguys. thrivemarket.com/goodguys. I don't have to promote Element because I live it. I live that magnesium life. I live that potassium life, and so should you. Because do you like muscle cramps? Do you like fatigue? Do you like headaches? Do you like brain fog? Well, if you do, turn this ad off right now. But if you're a normal person who doesn't want those things, maybe you need more electrolytes in your life. Maybe you need a little magnesium and potassium for those muscle cramps so that you can sleep better. And Element's going to offer you all of that. Okay? It's going to help you stay hydrated without the sugar and other dodgy ingredients found in popular electrolyte drinks, sports drinks. And it's going to help that electrolyte deficiency deficiency or imbalance that's making you feel all those things. It's a zero sugar electrolyte drink mix. It's got, sodium levels that are 2 to 3 times government recommendations. So you're really going to get that amount of electrolyte that people are looking for. And Rob, who is the co-founder, he's a research biochemist, a New York Times best-selling author 2 times, which hurts because I'm a 0-time New York Times best-selling author. I don't want to talk about it. And has now sat on the Navy SEAL Resiliency Committee for over a decade. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you too good for the Navy SEALs? Right. That's what I thought. Look, it's great. I love Element. I drink it every day of my life. Look, go to drinkelement.com/goodguys to receive a free Element sample pack with any order when you purchase through our URL.
Legend.
When'd you guys
Were
meet?
friends with him PT or AT?
Oh, yeah. Oh, about 5 years now.
Pre-Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
So in those 4 years before you dated Taylor, were you ever like, you're the kind of guy that could date Taylor Swift?
Oh, yeah. I said, let me make a list for you real quick. T. Swift,
Michelle Obama.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking's sister.
Sure.
Does he have any siblings, Stephen?
No, he is nothing and no one.
Yeah. I mean, he is, I was not surprised at all because I'm like, yeah, he's so cool and fun. And who knows what she's been accustomed to. So it's probably a breath of fresh air to be with somebody that's, I don't know, not so. I mean, his star has definitely risen, right? But I mean, I always kind of assess it too by I've had friends, I'm sure we all have, that get on a rocket ship and then all of a sudden you just don't hear from them, and you're like,
You know Pete Davidson too? No kidding.
I do, yeah.
Wait, is Travis's number still the same since? And how?
And gets right, yeah, and yeah, and also
And what is it?
I try to not. The number is. I try not to judge when people get like. It's like what a wild thing. Like, imagine like, when Obama became president, like the amount of homies in his life that were like just harassing him, like, dude, or whatever. I mean, I'm saying, like, you're still a human and a guy, and like
I'm a little busy.
Yeah, no shit. I mean,
Sorry, I can't get back to you, Dan.
people want their moment. It's like when they go to stand-up shows and people, if they're coming to see and they scream something out to get their moment. It's like. People want that, but it's like, you try to have some, understanding of how busy, but he gets back, and sometimes it's right away, and sometimes it's a couple of days, sometimes it's a couple of weeks, but that to me was right away, like cool, like values the people in his life, takes the time to do that.
But would you do what I would do, which and it's happened, I've done it, I'm sure we all have, where sometimes you don't reply for a week or two.
Sure.
Now, in the days leading up to that, I'd be like, some piece of shit.
Yeah.
Changed. Got to his head.
Yeah.
And then the moment that reply comes in, I'd be like, good old best. TK best.
TK
best.
back, baby. Yeah.
Right? So quickly my tune changes when I get that reply in the text.
Yeah. Ben, do you have somebody in your life that's, I don't know, kind of little sparse with their communication?
Yeah, plenty of people, similar situations. I think athletes in general are like that because they get very busy for periods of time.
During the season.
Especially baseball players. Like baseball players won't respond to you for 2-3 weeks, and it'll come back like nothing's ever changed. But yeah, other than that, my wife, like she'll go a couple weeks without responding to me, and things will. No,
you
but,
all right?
No, but me and Josh, I would say that Josh and I occasionally. We'll leave something unanswered for a couple of days, and then I'll go back. I'll say, "Oh, that was a really funny TikTok," and then we'll start again. So I don't know.
Nice.
I think texting culture in general. There's so much freaking pressure. Like if you're in the middle of
Can you imagine being a
if you're in
sorry,
the
go
middle if you're in the middle of a conversation, definitely don't drop the ball because that's weird. It's the same thing as having a phone conversation, but to be like expected to be 100% accessible all the time is like I don't think it's healthy.
Yeah, I had a friend, comedian. He was in Portland, and I texted him on I think it was Friday, so the beginning of his weekend of shows, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He texted me back on Tuesday, and he's on his phone constantly. I mean, this is someone that's just could use a break from the electronic habit. And I texted him Friday, and he texted me back Tuesday and goes, "Sorry, man, I was in Portland." It actually made me laugh because I was like, "Oh, he means that. Like, this is why he couldn't get back."
I get that.
Great.
Portland's distracting.
I had a weed dealer once the only time I've ever had one that I didn't know, right? Then it got to a point where I was like, oh, I know buddies that'll just, when I'm around them and if I want to, grab some bags of treats. And this kid, he only ever had shake. So just big bags of just bad weed. And I remember I texted him, let's say again, like on a Tuesday, and I was like, hey man, you around, just in town, just got back, would love to come grab a bag of your famous bad weed. And he texted me back, no joke, a month and a half later, yeah, swing by.
Sick.
Wow.
I remember.
Cool. Like nothing had happened. Like no time had passed.
Weird.
I don't know, I thought that was going to get a crazier response. You guys don't do drugs, huh? Okay.
No, I'm 15 years sober. I'm a typical child star. I remember buying weed in New York.
There we go.
And
relate to the fans.
Well, I was so used to buying New York weed in LA, which is a different setup, right?
Yeah.
So New York, like, first of all, the laws at this time, like, it's mid 2000. So the laws are stricter. It's not legal.
Yeah.
And it's also like your dealer can't just like usually come over necessarily. Like most dealers have cars or bikes.
Yeah.
And you're getting in that car.
And you're getting in that car.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What a fun.
That's the only way I've ever picked up drugs. You got to get in their car, go around the block, pray that they don't kidnap you and take the money and shoot you right in the head.
Yo, that's pre-Uber too. Isn't it so funny? Your mom taught you not to get in the car with strangers. I've sometimes been in an Uber for 4.5 minutes and been like, oh, for Adam, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What a wild thing that we just jumped on board with.
Well, it's also scary, but I remember being in this buying weed from this drug dealer, and I didn't like what would happen is he had some stash box in the car, like that was hidden from the police and hidden from view. And it would just appear, right? Like I would hand him $60 or $100 and like an eighth would appear and then it would be done. And I remember once he put it in a plate. I gave him the money and we're just having like a quick second of small talk. He put it in a place where I couldn't really see it. It was slightly obscured.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I guess I got to keep talking till it arrives.
Yeah, you do.
So now we're 10 minutes in.
About what?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Pokemon? Like just...
Isn't it funny when you want the drug, like the things that you were just scrambling and trying to create conversation over?
Yeah. I mean, it's 2007, right?
You think they'll ever remake Beauty and the Beast? I mean, just reaching for...
You don't think there'll be a housing crisis, do you? like, do you think in a year and a half we'll have our first African-American president or no?
You think Mike Pence ever gets a fair shot?
Yeah. And then and I could just see he's like, let's go. And then finally it appears. I'm like, oh, I didn't, you hit it so good. And I grabbed it and just got the hell out of there.
Guys, if you can check out my documentary, Doug. Streaming now on YouTube.
Tell people about, I watched it yesterday. Excellent.
Thanks.
Doug Ayer, is this?
Yes.
I didn't know his story at all. And neither
did I.
You had promoted it. So how did you...
So Brian, his brother, is a physical therapist, now to the stars and just a wizard with healing people. And his brother, Doug, in the late 70s, was working as a lifeguard at a pool and crushing life, going to college to play football, just good-looking kid, and his family's all intact and just having a great time, and jumps into the pool to save a kid who was pretending to drown. And breaks his neck and is paralyzed, quadriplegic, and now he's in completely, as he says in the doc, his life ended and began in that moment. And I knew rough details of this story, and I got to know Brian through a family friend, had insane back issues, and I was in New York, and 3 days of aggressive stretching. There's another name for what the practice that he does is called, but 3 days
is
of
it Rolfing or something?
Butt chugging? Well, no, what? Wait, what? Rolfing.
That's like a form of massage, which is very
that doesn't
extreme.
Sound familiar.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's just some, it's not chiropractic, stuff, but it's just, he just unlocks things and just is so in tune and knows the body so well. And anyway, he helped me fix me in 3 days, and I have only had a few issues since. Now, I'm sure there's different cases, but I've been on planes with a guy where people complain of issues, and there's a woman next to us, and they just started talking, and she's like, yeah, blah, blah, and he's like, oh, what, and this is what I do, and oh, I haven't been able to lift my shoulder above here in 27 years. And he on the flight worked on it, and not just pressing on certain areas and giving a half-ass rub down, just doing things and stretching, whatever, and unlocking And bro, she did this and then just started crying. It was bonkers to watch on the flight. So Brian keeps telling me about his brother Doug. Anytime I go to New York, comes to shows, and sweet guy, and would always just get worked on. Even if I didn't have any major issues, it was just nice to get like a recharge, right? Almost like a quick cryo trip. And so he starts telling me about his brother Doug and how he, became this Paralympic champion and over 326, 96 gold medals and world record for javelin, shot put, discus, and cover of a Wheaties box and all these things, and hanging with the Pope and going on these national tours with Jordan and Bo Jackson in Montana. I'm like, this is bonkers. And he's like, you just got to meet him. So I did shows in Philly. They live in Jersey right outside there. Went over to the place. Such a great dude, playing ping pong, hanging. The house is immaculate. And then he just starts pulling up as I start questioning about the story. He was real generous to kind of, not spare any detail. And then pulls up so many videos and pictures to kind of accompany the whole adventure. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is that always makes anything real, especially a documentary, right? When you can really see, like you could see in the doc, like how much stuff there was to play with to really assist every moment. And it was just overwhelming. And I was like, how come I've never, and because you see all him on Regis and Kathy Lee and all these news things and just, and I'm like, how come I was just, too young, but they said they had a movie in development at one point and then the producer passed. So it kind of just fell by the wayside. And I was like, well, I have to help you to get this story out there.
So you directed a movie last year. You were also in a movie last year called Barbie.
Oh yeah.
What was that like?
It was awesome. It was bittersweet. It was the experience. At this point, I just chalk things up to the funness of it, right? Like you just go, I've had a lot of things promised or about to happen and not happen, which is for better or for worse. It's nice to get conditioned to go okay, cool. Just chalk it up to enjoy what you're doing.
Yep.
And don't worry about if it ends up, it's easier said than done sometimes when you're I hope we did it was a 2.5, 3 minute scene, right? With myself and this other cop. And it got chopped down to about 2.5 lines maybe. And so day of, it's just so fun. And
how'd
Greta
you get the part? Did you audition?
Allison Jones, who, cast The Office, Curb, Veep, most of Apatow's movies, a lot of Paul Feig movies, cast me in The Heat. And then I originally met her when I was auditioning for She's Out of My League. Remember that movie with T.J. Miller and Jay Baruchel? To be Jay Baruchel's brother. And I got down to he and I was about 2 years out of college and didn't get it. But then Allison just started to bring me in and just, like you do in this bit, you just want to be consistent and deliver and build fans, right? So that she just keeps bringing me back. And then I got The Heat in 2013, which was a Paul Feig, Melissa McCarthy, Sandra Bullock comedy. And then a handful of other things from that. And then she just hit me up and goes, this is a small little thing. It's about, 10 lines and whatever. Do you want to do it? And I was like, fucking yeah. And it also just sounded like it was going to be cool. Like Gosling and Margot Robbie and I think Will Ferrell was in at that point. And so I just got to do it and had a lot of fun. We got to improvise a lot. And Gosling at one point was from something we were doing was if that's not the trailer, take me out of the movie. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be a really cool little chunk of screen time. And I went with my wife and a few other homies to a midnight screening. We're sitting in the theater and I pop on screen and I go, here we go. And then 2 seconds go by and I go, and there it was.
It's like me and Oppenheimer.
Bro, that was awesome.
Thanks.
Bro, that was one of the coolest. And I'm glad that I had enough of a connection and rapport with you to really get genuinely pumped about that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
Yeah, that was very, very cool. And you were fucking awesome. It was just awesome, man. That movie was so big and and I was so into it. And I don't even know, I think that I don't know if I had seen that you were in it yet or seen you post or talk about it. So that was also an extra, imagine that,
right.
I was just yeah! I was just, it was awesome, man.
What, oh, wait, you were saying Ryan Gosling was saying, if this isn't a trailer moment, at any point do you go, hey, Ryan, you're from Canada. Why do you have a New York accent?
So funny, dude.
That's
Is he
weird,
from
right,
Canada?
Ben? Yeah.
Hilarious. What part? Marsh?
Not New York.
Gotcha. Yeah, not New York, British Columbia.
New York, Ontario.
Not Brooklyn, Toronto.
Have you noticed that, Ben?
I have, yeah. I have, yeah. And
He was
he's-
nice. I took a picture of him with him. Stand still, you Canadian New York freak. And we took a picture, and I go, I'm going to use this for the cover of my comedy special. And he pulled back so quick. And was like, boy, no. He goes, dude, no, with those striking fucking blue pubes. And he was just like, no. And I was like, I was joking, man. We don't have our sensibilities aligned yet, but fucking psych.
What are you, nuts? Ben, what do you got?
on my flight to Utah. We're in first class. I'm not going to pretend that we got upgraded. We paid full fare, all sitting up there. And family of 4 has 4 separate seats. 2 young kids, a mother, and a father. But they're all in different rows scattered throughout. So the first thing that happens is the father goes up to every single person in first class and says, I need to sit with my family. My son has a terrible peanut allergy. If I'm not near my son, I cannot protect him just in case there's peanuts on this flight. So all 4 of us need to sit in one cluster. So he reorganizes all of first class, okay? That happens before the flight even starts. No problem. We're all sitting. It's all good. The entire flight, the husband would yell to the wife in front of him, and the wife would yell to the husband behind him. She'd turn and she'd say, hey, what movie should I watch? And we're looking, I'm locking straight eyes with her. I'm locked eyes with her as she's screaming behind, what movie should I watch? And he'll recommend a movie to her, and she'll turn back and she'll say, but are you sure? Are you sure it's something that I'd like to watch? I don't know if I have time to watch this. The whole time they're yelling back and forth at each other. And all I have to say, the entire experience is just, what are you, nuts? Don't make people move. But if you're going to make people move and rearrange, don't pretend that this is your private cabin. It's not your private cabin. Airplanes, as you mentioned, are stressful places. Everybody's trying to go from A to B. They're trying to watch a movie. They're trying to read a book. They're trying not to disturb. They're trying to enjoy their time, right? 4.5 hours, it's a long flight. Non-stop. So what are you, nuts?
Okay, so my what are you nuts is I was recently at World Market with my son because I'm doing well. And my son and I do these super cute international snack taste tests together.
You're fucking a dad of the year, dude.
We
That's
love it.
adorable. Whose idea was this?
Well, because we watch them on YouTube, and so we were like, let's try it. So we'll do Japanese snacks and Brazilian snacks and all these different things. So we
Great
go
way to
there.
open their heart and minds to the world too.
Keep it in international, babe.
Keep it in.
So I go up to the checkout, and there's this guy there, and I can already tell this guy's an issue. So first, there's a glass sort of fun Japanese soda that my son is buying, and so it's there, and the guy goes, oh, do you want to hold it? To my son, like, by the way, my son was not holding it. It was in my basket. I placed it there. I said, no, put it in the bag. Now, I'm not being a douche. It's glass, and he's 5.
Yeah.
He drops shit.
Historically,
glass can be a bit of an ish. So I was like, put it in the bag. Guy goes,
all right, Gosling.
and of course, my son is like, no, I'll hold it. And the guy looks at me and looks at my kid and puts it in my kid's hand. I go, first of all, big mistake. Don't undermine a parent ever.
I see your parenting skills, and I'm going to raise you a stranger's parenting skills.
Yeah, right. And I can tell you this guy does not have a kid because it was like totally.
You can tell.
Because he was getting off on undermining me. And any other parent would be like, we are united in our parentdom and like keeping A, kids safe, and B, eluding more headache.
Do you think this guy tells other employees, do you know how many dads come in here a day with kids that wish I was their dad?
Yeah, that I fucking undermine.
This guy came in, I said, take the soda, kid.
Then this guy one ups me, and then we have a real problem, right?
no.
I go to pay, right? And I do tap. Again, I'm doing well, and I love technology. I go, tap it.
It's fun.
Doesn't work first time.
Yikes.
He goes, no. You gotta wait and then tap. I
You
go,
gave him a window to...
I go, great. Let's try this again. Okay? Try it again. Doesn't work. I go, I'm using my card. I pull my card out, and he goes, no. Give me your phone. I go,
What are you, my ex?
I go, listen. I go, listen to me, boss. I've been tapping all over the world.
Did you say boss?
I said, listen, chief.
Yeah.
Okay. I said, I've tapped in Vancouver, Canada.
Funny.
I've tapped in Indonesia. I'm tapping
I'm the
it
Carmen
up.
San Diego of Apple Pay.
I'm great at tapping. You don't tell me. I feel that little shake in my phone. I feel like I met my dad. I feel completed.
Wow.
I tap it up. I'm not fucking up here. It's your machine. I look at him, I go, no. We're past that. Your machine's too difficult. And he looks at me like I just gave up. Like I was Doug Air and I was giving up and not becoming a Paralympian.
Now streaming on YouTube.
Like it was, and I was like, you suck. Sir, you are no. I didn't say any of this.
Yeah,
I just
this is all up
decided
here.
in my head.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're
said,
too sweet.
I said thank you for the receipt, and I walked away.
No, you gave him four
What are you,
times.
nuts?
You gave him 4 times whatever the value was of what you were buying.
Yes,
And
but
left.
this guy sucks. You know who you are. I think his name was, I don't know. Who cares? I'm not
cares?
giving him any shine.
Oh my God.
Follow Adam. Go watch his doc on YouTube.
Watch the doc on YouTube. It's called Doug Air. All my tour dates for stand-up. I'm hitting the road hardcore in 2024. AdamRayComedy.com. If you're in LA, I do these once a month Dr. Phil live shows. I just did 2 at the arena, HEB Arena in Austin for $10,000 a piece, and it was bonkers. And we do them at the Comedy Store. The next one is January 17th with Whitney Cummings and Nikki Glazer. Bill Burr returns February 6th, and then we have March, April, May guests about to be announced. Josh, I think it could be fun to maybe try to arrange you and Johnny Stay to come on and play with the doc.
What
It's a live show. I come out. It's basically a late night Phil show, and I've gotten his blessing, which is bonkers. And I go out, do a monologue, then we do crowd work, then there's a character guest, and then the real guest, and then it's just mayhem. But they always sell out on there. You can watch all of them on YouTube. Bill Burr one is out, Adam Devine and Honors Home, Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino, and Matt Rife, all on my YouTube page. Just subscribe to the YouTube.
Ben, give us away. Take us home.
All I have to say is if one more person on Instagram DMs me that I look like George Santos, I'm deleting the app entirely.
you
man.
don't.
It's not that you look like him. It's your
deleting-
gestures are very Santos-y.
I'm just deleting it. But this episode is all the others 5 stars. If it's not 5 stars, what are you nuts? Rate, review, and subscribe. Spotify, podcast, Apple, YouTube, wherever you find your stuff. Thanks a lot. This was great. So fun catching up. Watch Doug. It was great. And
I love you. Ben, you got a great voice. Do
Thank-
you do voiceover? You should be like an animated car or something. You have a nice set of pipes.
Thank you. No, I VO porn though.